So another short video. This one we're going to be going over painting the Nurgle swords. We're using Games Workshop Bugmans Glow, Games Workshop Yriel Yellow, Vallejo Model Color Pale Flesh, and Games Workshop Mephiston Red. This is a really simple way of doing it. So the first thing is, once we get it back in focus, is we're going to base coat all of these with Games Workshop Bugmans Glow. Now obviously I'm not going to do all of them on cam because we'll be here forever. But the idea with this is you want to remove as much of the black as possible, or whatever your base coat is, and get a pretty solid Bugmans Glow down. Just because the black's going to be a little bit too dark for when we put the red over the top. So you want a pretty solid, consistent base coat of Bugmans Glow. So this would be sort of paint consistency where we talk about breaking the surface tension. So not too thin, just thin enough so it's not going to obscure any details. Next up, drop some red of some kind into the swords. So in this case, I've used Games Workshop Mephiston Red. I've thinned it down quite a lot, so it's turned into a wash. You can just use a red wash if you want. I don't really own any, but any red wash will work. The idea with this is first of all, it's going to make the Bugmans Glow much more pink. And secondly, what it's going to do is it's going to flow into the recesses. Sorry about the noise outside. It's really hot weather at the moment. Yeah, so you can see how the Bugmans Glow's gone very pink, and it's flown into the red has flown into the recesses. So this time we've gone back to the Bugmans Glow, and what we're doing is we're just brightening up the center of the swords and almost making like a little mottled pattern. So we're making it more inconsistent now, because the swords on this are not perfectly flat or smooth. They've got lots of little bumps and dents in them. The big saw in the center, what I'm going to do is towards the central, the bright point of the sphere, because this is like a boil. The one in the center is like a boil. For anyone who's seen this model finish knows that actually at the end of it, I end up repainting this and putting an eyeball on it, but I figured it'd be worth showing you guys. But this is Bugmans Glow with a little bit of Vallejo Model Color Pale Flesh in it, so it makes it more like a whitey pink, so much brighter. So you can see how the little marks that I'm painting on are very inconsistent. It gives me that mottled result that I want. It goes along with the actual texture that GW have sculpted into this, because as I said, with the exception of the boil, these are not smooth, they're very imperfect. They've got lots of little marks, lots of little bumps all over them. Nice and simple. And honestly, like for the swords themselves, that's all you need to do. Again, if this was a competition piece, I'd probably be doing a lot more on them, but you don't really need to. Now, as for the boil I'm pushing a little bit brighter. So we're going all the way up to Pale Flesh on this, the Vallejo Model Color Pale Flesh. And then a couple of little points on the swords just to make it pop a little bit more, but we're not going too extreme with it. If you were doing this as a competition piece, you just need to make sure that those were much more refined and smoother. Now the last thing with the boil is I've just glazed over a little bit of Games Workshop Yriel Yellow. This gives it a really nice yellowy pussy feel to it, and it looks really grim. And then the last little bit, a little white dot. I really like this result. I think it looks really cool. The only reason I changed it in the end to the eyeball that you can see on screen is just because I found the eyeball a little bit more interesting, and this model is the model itself is very plain, so the eyeball was a bit more interesting, but I hope you liked it.